What's up? My name is Melissa, and you're listening to Wild, where we discuss unconventional norms of lifestyle, career, and world points. On Wild, people discuss their journey to becoming wild, hosted and curated by me, Melissa Witherspoon. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Wild. Today I'm here with a good friend. This is the first episode I say that we have somebody that's in our generation.
Awesome.
He's a black man. He's 26. He's the same age as me.
Awesome.
Hey, Macc.
Hey, what's good? What's good? What's up, Alyssa?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you living?
I cannot complain not one bit at all.
All right, so the backstory how I met Macc. So I have a crazy best friend, Hey Pocket. One night he told me, come ride with me. I said, all right, I'll come ride with you. We was doing another show, check out Converse. He was like, come ride with me. I was like, all right, I trust this nigga with my life. So I said, all right, I'm going to ride. He pulls me up to this beautiful house, and I'm like, who do you know here? And I'm like, he's just like, just trust me, rock with me. I'm like, you sure you didn't make some deal that we need to talk about,
man,
discuss
Pocket,
about, and everything? Like, I know you know a lot of people in high places, but boy, please don't have me in no place that you got to tell me about later. Anyway, this guy opens this door, and he's like, what's up?
That's good. I remember that. I definitely remember that.
And he was like, and we did our show, and then he was like, it was Super Bowl. He was like, nah, stay. And he had all the food laid out. And when I tell you the food was laid out, he had chicken, he had
pizza,
hamburger, pizzas. Then he had the conversation, because at the time we were talking about the Battle of Sexes, and we had that whole big fiasco. I had the girls on my team. We was winning for a little bit, and then the guys kind of...
Listen, we did what we had to do. You know, we got the conversation done. We got what we needed to do done.
I say it was a tie. It was a tie.
Yes, it was a tie.
It was a tie. It was a tie. It was a tie. It was a tie.
A little teeter-totter. All right.
All right. And since then, Macc's been one of the coolest homeboys I know. You know, he's one of the type of people that you don't got to talk to every day, but if you need him in the corner, just ring it up, ring.
Facts.
And he got you. So, but Macc is humble with it.
Hey, man, I'm chilling, minding my business, not doing much of nothing, man.
Macc, can you please tell the people what you do?
I do a little bit of IT, do a little bit of real estate, you know, mobile app development. Nothing too crazy, you know.
He's being humble with it, y'all. Don't listen to this boy. All right, so let's bring it back. Real estate. This boy is 26 and owns how many houses?
4.
4. Okay. Located in the DMV and in New York.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is in the IT world, when you know Silicon Valley is like maybe like 6%, and I even know the numbers for Black people
really?
In America. Wow. So like the numbers are low. What else can I say? Macc is connected as hell. Macc is also not a DMV native, which is so weird because
sure enough, I just came down here and, you know, capitalized on everything I had to do for real.
But he talks to like a DMV boy, like he roots DMV, like it's.
I'm definitely, listen, one thing I can say down here living is like an anomaly. It's not something you've ever seen before. I highly recommend anybody that is Black to get down here to at least visit and check it out, because it's not like anything you've seen anywhere else.
He's a hustler. You're going to learn a couple of business ideas. This is all this conversation going to be at. So let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so Macc, first off, what do you want to tell the people about you before I interrogate and like go ham? So
let's see, you know, 26 from Albany, New York.
Okay.
I'm the oldest of 7. People don't know that about me.
Okay.
You know, I'm real quiet. I like to play football, basketball, sports, and I like to party and turn up when I can. You know, I like to cook. I like to grill. That's pretty much it. You know, I'm just a real simple, easy going. I like to party too, of course.
And literally, Macc parties like Diddy. I swear to God, literally, if you want to find Diddy in DC, but a humble Diddy,
I am wigged. I could definitely see that, because, you know, especially like not so much now, but before I was out like every other week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, consistently.
Little story. It's one of my homegirls, one of my really best friend's birthday. I'm in the literally turn and I pop up, I get a tap on the shoulder. He's like, Melissa. And I'm like, Mac, I know your ass ain't here. And
Sure
he's
enough
like,
was.
I was like, I got you and your girls covered. I said, whatever. I said, my girls are crazy. He said, don't worry about it. I got them. I got them.
Because matter of fact, my birthday was that Thursday. And so we had went out there. All of my people was there for brunch. And it was like me, my boy Kendall, my
Okay.
boy Q. There's a couple of out there. And it was lit. It was lit. And then we so happened to see everybody. And that was the very first day that the world shut down.
Yes.
They kicked us out the club. We bought a section and they kicked us out the club.
I remember we was like, on tables. We was like, it's the end of the world.
We was wilding, yo.
We was wilding. At the end of the night, I remember I did not walk sober. I can honestly say that. I don't know how I got home that night. I really don't.
Matter of fact, I think, did you come back to the house that night?
No, I didn't.
Because everybody came back to the house.
No, my girls wanted to. That was the thing. We tried to find him, but y'all had disappeared by then. I don't know where y'all been. We had another party
back at the house, which is crazy because that was fun too. And people didn't leave my house till about maybe 3:00 on a Sunday. On a Sunday night going into Monday, people got to work, but the world was shut down. So it just like kind of worked out, you know?
Nah, we didn't care. But Mac, let's get back into the background. So I know you're from military. So how did you get from military into IT?
So when I was in the military, I did 4 years there, and when I was in the military, I was a bioenvironmental engineer. I work with occupational safety and health. That was interesting. You know, I got my degree in that. Didn't really like it. So when I got out, I was working in the Secret Service, and I was doing their safety program specialist there. Once I did that, I realized I hated it. I'm like, I want a career shift. And so, I said, let me go ahead and get into IT. And nobody would give me a chance. I was out of work for 4 months, just struggling. Mind you, during this time, I'm out of work. I'm building my first house. And so I have no job. I'm building this house. I'm like, what the heck? How am I going to go ahead and do this? And so I contact these people. I probably applied for maybe about 70 jobs over the course of 4 months, and I got nothing. And so this one company called me. It was like, you see, you got a clearance, but you have no degree, you have no nothing in IT, you have no experience. I said, I just need somebody to give me a chance. And listen, my man, James Kyle Irby, if you listen to this, man, I appreciate you, bro, because you helped me out, and that's one of the first people that ever like put me into the IT world when I had nothing. And so I got in there, and that was the best thing I could have ever done. And they helped me out, although they started me with making pennies and crumbs. I'm forever grateful for that moment because that started me to where I am today. 1,000%. 1,000%.
So you a New York boy.
Of course.
Talk about the New York hustler, because in your journey, you just mentioned right there how you a hustler, and talk about how New York raised hustlers.
So, New York definitely raised hustlers for sure. But one thing I got to credit is my grandfather. That is the most hustlingest man I've ever met in my life. He actually is the reason why I am in the real estate game right now, and he's the reason why I am 1,000% the man I am today. Seeing my grandfather, wake up every day, because he was a warden of a prison. He'd go to the prison, and then he had about 20 properties, 14 different garage buildings. I just seen that constant hustle and motivation, and seeing how, us growing up as, his grandkids, we went on to Disney World and we went all over the place. And it was just like, we thought that was normal life for us. But, we were very privileged as a family. And so, seeing that, direct impact from him, and you're like seeing all the things that he did, I was just like, you know what, it's already in me. And so I truly appreciate that. That's really where it came from, my hustle, my drive, my motivation. There's always something. Even today, he calls me weekly. What do you think about doing next, grandson? What do you think about doing next? And like, he'll even try to throw his little ideas in there and all this other stuff. So it's always opportunities to make money, and his big thing is, what does the world need next? What does the world need to step to next? And, that's one of the best things that I could have ever taken. So, even, we're probably going to talk about this later, but even snipped, what is the convenience, of needing that immediate, barber or beautician or whatever. It's just figuring out what people need in that very moment.
No, one thing you talked about was how your grandfather, a Black man, in this time, in this climate, I feel like the Black man is needed for everyday Black men. Can you talk about having that role model in your life, like more extreme, how we need more Black, I say role models,
for sure,
Black male role models.
And so, like, growing up in the area I grew up, it was very white. We had a sprinkle of Black, but, the sprinkle of Black weren't really doing everything.
Okay.
And so, it's definitely seeing my grandfather being a successful black man was kind of like a big thing, not just for me, but for the whole community.
Mm-hmm.
And, people value my grandfather 1,010%. And that is, that is truly amazing, to see how much people have taken what he has said and taken his words and really applied it to their own lives. Because like I said, it's not just me. Sometimes I'll be wanting, like, it's my grandfather. I'm gonna keep him selfishly to myself and all that. But no, it's just he is really just a strong, black man in the community, especially for Albany. A lot of Albany appreciates him and everything that he does. So I couldn't have a better role model to look up to, especially for things like that. Especially having I think I had one black male teacher my whole time growing up. And from where I'm from. And so seeing stuff like that, not having really a lot of role models and seeing, how that has, translated into the crime that has happened today and seeing there's no role models for us as young black men and the things that are happening today, it kind of it hurts, but it's,
Mm-hmm.
I understand what's going on. So
Okay.
I get it.
No, and then just talk about it, because if you know Macc is one of them guys that you see him, you see his crew. And I can say all his boys, they A1 when it comes to hustling. Like, talk about just creating a good, I don't want to say entourage, a team, a grounded team where everybody on your team is a hustler.
I think, and it's crazy that it came about because, at first you met, some of them through the military, and then, I met some of them through, my work after the military.
Mm-hmm.
And it really just came from motivating each other. Like, you're doing this while I want to do this, or you're doing this while I'm going to do this. So it's like a friendly competition between all of us. We all push each other. We all say, hey, you're doing this. Well, I feel like I do this better, and we keep it friendly and we don't get too deep into the competitive aspect of it. And so that's one thing that has helped, all of us tremendously. Like, to see, if you look at us 5-6 years ago, we were not the same people. We were technically still kids, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
We're all still kids. And to see us now, have grown up and living our adult lives and pushing each other, buying houses, working these amazing jobs and all the other stuff. It's really just that level of competition and drive that we all kind of had that kept us going every single step of the way.
No, so like one thing my mentor said, your circle is your network.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I'm not trying to hype him up, but like that's real true. And I can honestly say, if you meet Macc and he allows you to become part of his circle, the network is amazing.
Hey, listen, I'm willing to give anybody information they want to get. Listen, they willing to listen, I'm willing to speak. You feel me?
So no, in today's society, I feel like they don't make real networks no more. Like, people have these fake circles, like,
Well, the thing that really harms, especially our community,
Okay.
Is
we talking about black people.
Facts. It's the crabs in the barrel mentality. That crabs in the barrel mentality will destroy black people through and through. And that's one thing I can say that is back in my hometown. That crabs in the barrel mentality is terrible. But down here, I'm not gonna lie, the DMV, they don't really have much of it. They really do not have much of it, or at least I haven't seen it at all. Because people, they're willing to help people down here. A lot of the information I've had, I've learned a lot on my own, but I have gotten a lot of help. I would be crazy to say that I did all this on my own. Crazy. Because a lot of people have helped me through the years, even being in the military, being in Secret Service, my IT career and all the other stuff. So I would be crazy to say that.
So we're just going to do a shameless plug right now. Can you talk about how wonderful the DMV is? Like,
hey, listen, I'm not going to lie. The DMV is something special. Y'all people really think it's Wakanda out here, and it really might be. Because y'all don't see any of the other world problems. Y'all are really like, this is the most successful place. First of all, I'm not going to talk about the DMV. I'm going to talk about PG County, the wealthiest black county in America. And it shows. And it shows because, like, it shows by the families. It shows by, the actual, dollar amount and monetary value. It just goes to show you how differently, black people are. Black people are looked at as superheroes down here, and like they're not wearing any capes. And, that's one thing I appreciate it, because when I got out the military, I was literally on the Delaware Bridge driving home. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to go home. I got to move back home, yada, yada, yada. And then I got a call for the Secret Service, and I was the first plane smoking back. I did not look back. And so I've advocated for the DMV through and through, because this place is literally like nothing else. I cannot take that away from y'all.
So talk about the black dollar, because I think, with you being seeing the world in a very different perspective, you're one of the guests that actually have the service clearance, the from the government side.
Yeah,
Actually, you're our first guest that has that side.
really.
Most of our guests is from the entertainment world, and most of our guests are from the business world. But for you to have it from that world, talk about the Black dollar and keeping it in the Black community.
So that's the wonderful thing about here. I have never seen so many government employees that are black. Like I was telling, Melissa before, um, when my first special agent in charge, he was a black man. His number two was a black man. And when I was working at the Secret Service, I think out of all of the people in the office, I think maybe 75% of us were, black. And that's one amazing thing to see down here is that people in higher up positions in the federal government are black.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that's down here. I don't know, it's because the people that live in the area, so they're getting the area, but that's one thing that I just find is so amazing because you do not see that anywhere else in the world at all. You don't see it in Atlanta, you don't see it in New York, you don't see it in California, Texas, anywhere. And so that's one thing that's definitely special and unique to this area for sure.
Because people say Atlanta. No shade to Atlanta.
All shade to Atlanta, actually.
He wants to smoke. I don't want to smoke.
Atlanta.
Okay, no shade to LA. No shade to. He wants all the smoke. Melissa Witherspoon don't want all the smoke, but Mac wants all the smoke.
Hey, listen.
But with that saying, we get a lot of comparisons. But I honestly feel that as I've been lucky enough to travel the world,
yeah, of course,
it's nothing like the DMV. The DMV is a really special place.
And even so, like the black owned businesses that are open up here, they thrive. I've never seen that before anywhere in my life. They thrive between the restaurants. The worst business you can open up is a food spot, and down here you have restaurants and brunch spots that go crazy down here, and people are willing to support no matter what the cost is. Like I hate to keep mentioning back home, but stuff like that back home, stuff like that really doesn't thrive. It's really hurtful to see stuff like that because these are great ideas. It's literally the same thing that's up there in New York is really down here. It's just to see the way that black people get behind, their community and support down here is amazing. It's amazing.
So did that inspire you to become from a consumer to a creator?
Yes, by far, for sure. Especially, creating my app, Snipped.
Let's get into the app because that's where exactly was about to go with that. Man. Come on.
Oh man.
Come on.
Snip was the best, worst thing that could ever happen to me.
First of all, how did you even thought about the idea from the IT world going to I'm gonna make an app?
So
because that's different from contracting.
So me and my cousin Billy McLaughlin, he literally was like, "Yo, let's come up with this app to where people can have mobile barber services and they come to you, you go to them." So pretty much we took the concept of Uber, Cash App, and StyleSeat and combined it all in one app. And it was super convenient. The app, the way it works is amazing. But it's just a lot of things, growing pains that we had, a lot of things that we didn't understand, especially about the beauty industry and the marketing. It was a complete failure, but that was the best failure that we've ever had. It was a stepping stone that allowed us to get into spaces where we're doing tech for other entities like Arcade One, or we're doing government contracting, or we're building apps for other people, and that allowed us to have a certain different platform to go ahead and create apps. So we went from that, and that has actually helped and fueled, especially by people from the DMV, because down here you'll find a lash tech, nail tech, you'll find any and everybody. And so we like, what if everybody had one platform to do everything? Because we're tired of saying, oh, my barber, he's booked this time and we don't know his schedule. And so when we actually sat down and talked about it, great concept, terrible execution, but I'm thankful for my team, especially, Billy, Kendall. When we did everything we had to do, the app was great. So never know. We might do a little rebrand.
Okay. No, I understand. So with saying that, you talked about how failure is wonderful. Because most people are scared of failure.
Oh, no, I love it.
Explain why, because a lot of people are scared of it. I love it too, but...
Because if I fail, I know not to do that again. If I mess up, I'll be like, yo, I don't want to go down that path. And so, because, life is all about, everybody just wants the direct satisfaction. I can't even say everybody. Our generation wants the direct satisfaction of, hey, I want this done. Life does not work like that. You have to find different avenues, see what works, see what this fits here. And if that doesn't work, try something else. A lot of people, when they get in this mindset of, oh, this didn't work, then I'm just not going to do it anymore. No, you probably just one step away from trying another avenue that you don't know. So I love failure. I love failing. I'm my own worst critic. I critique myself to the umpteenth power. That's also a blessing and curse within myself. But I appreciate that 1,000%.
No, so okay, so we're talking about failure, and then we're talking about IT.
Mm-hmm.
So during my research, I know there's maybe 2.8, close to either 2.8% to 6% of Black people in Silicon Valley. It's probably maybe 10% of Black people just in the IT world as a
Mm-hmm.
creator. Talk about just being a Black creator in IT. I'm not IT, in just in the app world. What's your experience?
So my experience in the ad world, it's all about marketing. You can have $1 million app and with $2 marketing. So it's all about how you get that presence out to the people. How do you relate to the people that are actually going to be using that? Finding out who your target audience is, finding out how to reach your target audience. So being a Black creator, it was more than just us having that idea because we can build any app you want to build. Like we can literally do anything you want to do. But if you don't have that background of the marketing aspect and the business aspect, it all folds. It all folds into pieces and millions of pieces. So it's kind of like one of those things where everybody needs each other at the end of the day, and that's an aspect that you have to have a strong team. So you have to have a team that does marketing, have to have a technical team, have to do a business team, have to do employees management team, HR team. It's one big entity that everybody needs to be on par with. Every single person.
No, that's good because I think some people try to romanticize entrepreneurship.
Oh God, no.
Let's go into it. Like,
Uh,
no, because I feel like they do, especially in our generation. I did it all by myself. I did it. Like, you hear the whole
Everybody
bravado.
needs somebody. Everybody needs somebody. Doing that stuff by yourself, it's all cool and all. You can say you're working hard, but if you can streamline a process, why not do it? If you can go ahead and say, hey, can you do this? It will make my life easier. Why not make your life easier? See, the problem is people glorify the struggle. I will never glorify the struggle. I hate struggling. So why not find somebody else to go ahead and help me with this, help me out to make my life easier? And I'm scratching your back. You scratch my back, I scratch
Right.
your back. But a lot of people get, oh, I did this by myself. I did this by myself. You know what's crazy? I can't even say everybody. It's our community. Our community does
Let's
that.
get into it. Why
And
do we love struggling? Like, I literally, our
because
ancestors literally are trying to get away from the struggle, and we
mhm,
want to go back to struggle.
because the struggle looks like if you struggle, you're validated. So if to make it seem like, hey, if I'm struggling, I did this on my own. I worked harder than you. That's what people equate it to. Or it's not all people, but some
Hmm.
people. That's what they equate it to. So when they equate it to that, it's just like, all right, cool. I understand what you're saying, but I worked half of what you worked and I achieved the same thing. It's all about streamlining the process. If you can streamline, streamline. If you can't, you can't.
Okay,
So
so going back to romanticizing entrepreneurship, I feel like our generation, especially with IG, they romanticize it. They make
mm-hmm.
it seem like, hey, like it's just I take it to the influencers, no shade. I know a couple of influencers. I know how they work their ass off,
Mm-hmm.
taking getting the right light and everything. But on Instagram, it's like, oh, I just took a pretty picture and I said click, and I get money in the bank. Like everyone needs to really stop romanticizing entrepreneurship. And as an entrepreneur,
It's because that dopamine in your in your brain, it literally just says, "Oh, the more likes I get, the more notoriety I have, the more successful I am." I know so many influencers that are broke, that have
yes,
nothing. You're just on there, tens of thousands of followers, but your brand, what is your brand? Like, what are you doing?
they
You're
don't know
not
how to
doing anything.
monetize it.
You don't know how to monetize. You're literally just stuck in the sunken place of having this validation that, hey, I am now a brand influencer. I have 10,000 followers. I get thousands of likes on this, but I have no money. So now what? So then what do you have to figure out what you're going to do?
Right. Because, the thing about Instagram or any of these social media platforms, we don't own the domain.
Sure enough, don't.
And at any time, if the owners want to say it's a wrap, it's a wrap.
I want everybody to go find their own MySpace pictures and see where that's going.
Ooh. So talk about ownership because in being IT world, ownership also being part of the government,
Mm-hmm.
that's a big deal because people think that when they put it on the internet, they own it still.
Now, anything you put on any type of platform is not yours. Facebook, they literally are selling your information, and that is a proven fact. Any type of anything, they're selling anything of yours that is connected to that said app. So you own nothing. If you want to go ahead and post a picture on Facebook Twitter. You know what? I'm gonna get to this. OnlyFans. You own nothing of your OnlyFans content
And
at
people
all.
ruin their life. Don't
Yep.
even know that
Ruin
20
their
years from
lives.
now.
Yes.
20 years from now.
So like people are getting mad about these people spreading their OnlyFans content, which is wrong morally. But you guys can't get mad because you don't own OnlyFans. You are literally in the terms, and this is one thing what I learned with building apps. The terms and conditions, we all just accept it. But after I had to write my own terms and conditions, you can put anything. You can put, if you accept this, I own your iPhone. And people were just gonna accept it. And that's the crazy part about it. But yeah, you own nothing. And they literally OnlyFans and Facebook, any type of thing you put on anywhere.
But the thing about it is that with our people, what I say other people, they get band-aids. It's like, okay, they was young, they was wilding out. They ignore it. But our people, it's like, nah. So people ruin their lives at 19 and 20, don't even know what they doing from what they put out in the internet.
I think, like we were just talking about, that instant gratification. They're seeing that, oh, I can do this. I can get instant money, blah, 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 blah. Everybody wants that instant gratification of something. Everybody wants to have that feel-good moment immediately. Mm-hmm. And nobody wants to go ahead and, put in the back end work to get that feeling. They want to say, oh, if I can do this, then I'm.
And that's the thing. People don't realize that Instagram is fake. It's a facade. It's a huge facade. It's not real life. Like, shout out to Turning Natural. Her brand, and I just love how she does. I think her name is Jerica Cole. She gives so many motivations. She's like, I want to be dope in real life. Like, not Instagram, because a lot of people that you meet on Instagram, they ain't dope. Even the pretty Instagram models, y'all, they have no personality.
That's because another, in this, I don't want to sound like an old man, but I'm starting to sound like an old man right now. But it's just like we have no personal skills. We don't know how to communicate and talk because we're so wrapped in our phones. We're so tied up into looking down, so wrapped up in seeing what is going on in our phones, but that we don't know how to talk to people. We don't know how to communicate with people. We don't have personal skills or anything. So
I know.
Yeah. So that's the only shitty part that's about.
But we're all in our phone, but we don't know how to monetize it.
Exactly.
No. So okay. So to people who want to be in IT, because there's some people like I have a cousin who has 13K, and I was just like, yo, one day she said follow me on Instagram, and I'm like, I'm gonna follow my little cousin. Yeah. 13K. I'm like, hold up, and like she has really actual real followers. So I came to her, I was like, so you gonna monetize it? And she was like, nah, it's just for like I'm the popular girl in school. I'm like, hold up, we got 13K and we're not gonna monetize it.
That's that validation moment. They don't think because they have that 13K that they're validated. And that's it. It stops there.
We could have paid their school tuition. That's a whole nother conversation. We could have had You
never know.
But with saying that, I think a lot of people are trying to get into the IT world because we know technology is not leading. Technology is our new way of life. As recently, now credit cards are on phones. Like I haven't touched a physical credit card going out in public in months. I just take my phone, I swipe it, and call it a day. So talk about the other jobs, because I think people, their only idea or concept of being on the internet is I'm a YouTuber, I'm a tweet, I'm a brand ambassador, or I'm this. Can you get into contracting? Can you get into app building? Let's go through the whole list of things you can do. All right,
so I'm a tailor to myself and my company. There's government contracting. You can get a government contract for just about anything. The Dunn's website, you can go in there. They have government contracting for let's see, what's a crazy one that I saw on there? It's not too crazy, but the lawn care. You can go mow the lawns for military bases and do stuff like that. And you can bid to get all of that done. Or you can work at the daycare center on different federal installations. Government contracting is definitely the way to go if you want to have a great stepping stone as a young person graduating with your IT degree. Government contracting really is the way for young people, because young people don't want to be tied down to that federal government lifestyle where they have to go ahead and be like, hey, we're going to live this life for 20 years and we're going to retire and yada, yada, yada. Federal government allows you, the contracting, allows you to go ahead and see which entity you want to go in, which government agency. You can bounce around, get the experience, and kind of get those life skills and get those people skills of working in the real world. Heavily recommend.
No, so you just brought up another question in my mind going into this world. As you being on the front line of America's economy system,
Mm-hmm.
tell how the 9 to 5 is dead. 9 to 5 don't exist no more.
Sure enough, doesn't. I'm not really pretty much the way things are working right now, especially with COVID going on. People are working from home. Flex schedules are a huge bonus. People creating their own hours. My hours are usually 7 to 3. Um, if I don't want to work a day, I just have to make it up in the back end. I work from home, sit on my couch all day. I watch ESPN, play 2K. I'm really just chilling all day, every day, minding my business, and get my work done, obviously. But I went to Cancun. I didn't use any of my vacation time because I worked outside of that 9 to 5, quote unquote, just to make up time. So flex time is a big thing. People don't be scared of that 9 to 5 lifestyle because it's not even a real thing anymore usually.
No, because is one thing, and it makes it hard to have that conversation with older generations. I feel like older generations, that 9 to 5, they cling to it.
Oh yeah, God no.
They.
So the older generation, they were just so comfortable and complacent. That's one thing with our generation that we don't get comfortable and complacent within ourselves. So I was reading an article that the older generation, they chase the title. We chase the money. And we don't give a fuck about that goddamn title because it doesn't mean anything. It's all about how much money you're making. I don't give a fuck if you're a branch chief. I'm making the same amount of money as you, branch chief, or you're making like $1,000 more a year than me. So who's really working hard and who's working smart? And so that's really where it is right now.
So as you can tell from this interview, Macc be looking for knowledge. How some people in our generation don't have that environment. They don't have the boys. They don't have the girls that put them on to game. How do you go look for that knowledge? Because knowledge is power. Knowledge is wealth.
So for me, I am one of those people that I will go down a rabbit hole of looking up something at 3:00 in the morning. Once I go ahead and looking for that something in the morning, like it makes me want to go look for more and more things. But yeah, I look up everything. Anything I have a question to or I have an answer to, I look it up. Google is our best friend. We literally have Google machines in our hands at all times. And I don't know why people don't utilize it. What really kills me is when people go on Facebook and ask a question and are expecting a response on Facebook. You can literally go on Google and ask that same question and find an immediate answer.
Right.
So, it's people just utilizing the resources, seeing what works for them, seeing what doesn't work. But it's just the research aspect. Anything you don't know, you can find it. The answers are there. We no longer need to go to libraries like our parents did. We no longer need to figure out, hey, let's go buy encyclopedias. No one gives a fuck about that no more. We're all looking on Google or even finding out the information on YouTube. A lot of YouTube University people, TikTok University people. The information is there and it's there for people to use.
No, so Macc, you talking that talk. So that means you're a leader.
No, I'm not a leader, man. I'm not a leader. I'm just here. I'm trying to do my thing. I'm just trying to help the world, man. Trying to help the world, man.
You're trying to help the world. So we're helping the world and you're committed to helping Black people. Are you ready to be on the front line?
Oh yeah, I would definitely put myself out there. Listen to me. Like I keep saying, and I've said before, I'm willing to give out any information. People like, you need to monetize off this. I'm like, man, I got the information for free, so I'm not gonna charge somebody else to get this information. So if anybody had like questions, I'll go ahead and talk about it because usually it's just having a conversation.
Like I said before, Macc, if literally, I'm about to buy a house soon. I'm just gonna manifest it. I'm about to buy a house soon.
Of course, listen, that house is coming.
And Macc, literally, the first person I said, I gotta hit up Macc. Because Macc understands my taste level. Macc understands the price. Macc be knowing people, and I be like, Macc, how the fuck you be knowing them? I be like, for real. Yeah. Like, so, okay, you're a serial entrepreneur, right?
Serial?
Yes, you are.
What makes me a serial entrepreneur?
How many businesses do you own as of right now?
Damn, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you know what? All right, so I guess
because we're about to go into the other business that we talk about the IT.
So we talk about the IT side. I guess we're going to the real estate side. So yes. Yeah. So
and you worked a job too as well.
And a job. And I am very comfortable. I'm happy with life, but the real estate is what really catapulted me into a different way of living that I never thought I would have ever seen in my entire life.
Okay, ever. So one thing Black people are still fighting for is the 48. Was it 48?
40 acres and a mule, man.
Yes. And with the new bills, we might have what is it? What's the R word? Come on, y'all, help me,
Oh, damn.
Repetitions,
Reparations.
Thank you. Shout out to Julian. Reparations. We might have reparations. I don't think we'll see it, but maybe our grandkids or But it's a conversation that's getting a little bit more momentum in society. Let's talk about land because that's the biggest thing that any person in the world can own is land because land ain't never going out of style.
So you gotta think about it like this: all the land that's here on this earth will forever stay that same amount. There will never be new land. There will never be land that's going away. So that's the best thing that you can ever buy is land. That's the best thing that you can ever own. That's one thing that they, if you're doing what you have to do, they can't take that away from you. Land. That's matter of fact, that's the one thing my grandfather told me.
Okay.
Get you some land. And so for this house, I definitely say, I need a nice big backyard. Just to say I have that piece of land.
No, his backyard is ignorant, y'all. Like it is ignorant. like yo. Can't wait for the next cookout.
The crazy thing about it, trying to cut all that back there, cutting the grass. I cannot do it by myself. Like it's legit too much. So, but yeah, I'm thankful for it though. I tell you that.
No, so we're getting into the conversation about real estate. You mentioned that your grandfather got into real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So you remember how old was you when you bought your first house?
When I bought my first house, 22. I was 22 when I bought my first townhouse. And I just thought, I'm like, this is my forever home and yada, yada, yada. Little did I know that this was not the end. So I bought that house with the intention of like, I'm going to stay here forever. Mm-hmm. Then I realized that, hey, this is just the placeholder. This is just the stepping stone. And so December 2018, I bought me a house. And then October 2019, I said, you know what? I think I can, get another house. Shout out to my realtor, Adrian. We went through my budget. We saw how much I can afford and all that other stuff. And he was like, yo, Mac, you could do this again. And so, we were looking for houses, looking for resales, and the resales were not cutting it. And so I went ahead and went to my people that were selling houses in my community, and I built another house in the community. And that was the best decision I could have ever made in my entire life. Just because of, first, side note, this is one thing that the white people don't tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
Every time you go ahead and buy a house, it adds to your net worth.
Ooh.
Every single time. So a lot of people are going around, hey, I want to get another house, but what am I going to do with my second?
That's the myth because, Black people, we've been taught you get one house and you live there for 30 or 40 years.
It's BS.
Bullshit.
Because my first house, they used that for me and say, hey, how much are you renting out the house for? I told them how much my lease agreement was. They used the rent, subtracted from the mortgage, and the extra income that I was making. I think it was like $1,000 a month. They used it towards my monthly income. So that was actually able to be used to raise my loan limit.
Okay.
So every single time I make a profit from a house and I have an official lease, which is very easy. You can get an official lease off Rocket Lawyers, throw that in there. You can go ahead and use that towards your monthly income. So on paper, it looks like I'm making six figures off of a house, which I kind of really am. But people think that you just, when you're buying for houses and the income that you're getting is just from your job. No, it is from every cent that comes into your bank account. It can be cash. It could be anything. Any stream of income that you have and is qualifying and it's legal, you can go ahead and, show that to the bank, and the bank is willing to take anything. Because the thing about it is the bank wants you to get a mortgage. The bank makes money off of you getting a mortgage. But you have to use that and turn it around and use it for yourself. You have to use that against them. You have to say, hey, you're using this mortgage and blah, 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 but I'm going to go ahead and use it against you because I'm going to make a profit off that with this lease.
So credit is king.
Credit is king, for sure. Because credit is king. You need that high credit to get a lower interest rate.
So why do our people will literally go buy a car before getting a house? Because
it looks good. We are all in the, we're in the twilight zone right now. We're all what looks good. But, that is centuries in the making. Centuries. having that Sunday's best mentality.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have that Sunday's best mentality because they came from slavery time. On Sundays when they would go to church, they would
Mm-hmm.
always wear their Sunday's best. So people, took that, and over time, they wanted to have the most fashion thing and all this other stuff. And there's nothing wrong with it, but people have to get their priorities in order first.
So how do we unlearn this? Like, literally, how do we unlearn this? Like, because that's the conversation I be having.
How can we unlearn this?
Yes.
So here, it's kind of one of those things that has been ingrained in our DNA for decades, centuries, whatever. Unlearning.
Even when you broke, you say, "I'm gonna put my finest on, and I'm gonna look like some money."
Exactly. So it's not a sense of unlearning it. It's a sense of learning how to do that and prioritize what's more important.
Okay.
So you can still have. There's nothing wrong with having the nicest things. There's nothing wrong with having the cars, the watches, the clothes, and all that. But I'm still gonna go to this house back in the day that I got. I'm still gonna go ahead and have these 7 streams of income that I got. Mm-hmm. So it's really just all getting priorities in order.
So literally, you fell into like doing real estate, like by accident.
So it was by accident, but my mother, she likes to credit, it's in your grandfather, so it's gonna be in you. So, but it really was by accident.
I gotta introduce you to my cousin. My cousin was my first episode, and he owned. Are you interested in doing what is it, strip malls?
Sure, and that we're trying to get into commercial units. So commercial units is next.
I'll put you in Navin. Navin, 500 million strip dollars, 500 million in strip malls net worth.
Really?
Yes,
that's awesome.
I'll put you in. You'll love him. Julian can't count to listen to that episode, but yes, awesome. But going into the real estate, let's get into it because I don't know all the technical terms. Let's get to the nerdy side of real estate. Right. Go ham. I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna be quiet. Go ahead.
You can have a house within 30 days. It does not take long. It does not take a lot of money. There are a lot of programs in a lot of different states that
Can you name the programs real quick?
So the first time homebuyer program, I'm going to specifically talk about Maryland. The first time homebuyer program in Maryland, the Maryland, I forget what department it is, but they will literally give you money for your down payment, and you just have to stay in that house for a certain period or a certain amount of time. That's usually most people. They don't have that liquid cash for the down payment on the house. But with assistance programs like, what Maryland does, mm-hmm. you can do that. Also, the big thing now is the closing costs. People are getting the closing costs paid, by the bank, or getting closing costs paid by, the seller or the buyer. It really just depends on the situation. Things are really flipped now, but, having the money for the closing costs. So, combine. So prime example, if you buy a new build, most new construction houses will pay $15,000 worth of your closing costs. So my first 2 houses, they pay for $15,000 worth of closing costs, and this they pay for $15,000 worth of closing costs as well. So a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people just go in not knowing because they're scared because they think it's a lot of money and they think you got to have all this liquid cash, but realistically you don't. Mm-hmm. And what really actually kind of pisses me off is for military people that don't buy houses because you don't have to have any money down at all. And so I'm just like, why don't you own a home? Well, we don't know. And so it's just a lot of people
own homes wherever y'all live.
Yeah. And it's a lot of people, they just don't understand because they haven't had that person that has talked to them. So mm-hmm. Me and my boy, Adrian, and my other boy, Christian, we actually host like a Zoom call.
I remember.
Every other month or so when we get people on the Zoom call, we'll just start spewing out information. It's completely free. We're trying to do it again in September. Okay. Just so you know, so we can, give out free information again.
Look out for that, because trust me.
But yeah, and then also it's about location. You want to go ahead and pick a location where, it's going to appreciate. The world will always appreciate. The housing market will always crash, but it always goes back up. Just this past year alone, I think they said the U.S. has gone up 13%. Mm-hmm. As far as, the cost of living. Mm-hmm. So the things that were, cheap back then are now 13% more expensive now. I'll give you another prime example. I bought my house December 2018. I bought it for $370,000. The same house is worth $500,000 now, just because of the area, just because of the market. Yes. So and I've been telling people for years, buy in PG County because with the new hospital coming to PG County Hospital.
Yes, Landover, right?
Yes, and with the new Amazon coming here, this is really the hub. Another hub is Austin, Texas, another hub. Houston, another hub. Anywhere in Florida, another hub. You just got to find those hubs. Find where you're comfortable at. And just don't be afraid, but also make sure you're finding good deals. Make sure you get your good realtor because they will really help you out. Do not get a shitty realtor because they will just go ahead and fuck you over, leave you by the wayside. And and finding going based off the comps in that area. And so one thing I'm trying to step into is buying more rental properties, especially back in New York, because the rental properties in New York are cheap now, but the gentrification that's about to hit New York,
about to come.
It's about to be ridiculous.
In Albany, or are we talking about everywhere?
Everywhere across the whole state. Just because people in New York City, they're going ahead and they're giving funding to come up here, or not come up there, but go to Albany, go to Rochester, go to Buffalo, go to Niagara Falls, go to Syracuse, and to go to rebuild because, they're trying to, make New York State as a whole look like New York City. And, even like the suburban areas are trying to up those, but it's just, you just got to look in those areas. You got to figure out what's going to make sense to buy to you as well.
So how do we become fearless?
Oh, just got to go out there and get it. Just got to go out there and get it.
Because Mac, I'm telling you, when I told Julian how old you was, he was like, whatever. I was like, nah. But he was
one thing I can say is I never settle. Because once you start settling and once you get comfortable, that's when you get complacent. And, once you get complacent, that kind of screws you over. And like my favorite quote, I don't know who I heard it from, what is it? Plans without actions are dreams. You're going to be a dreamer, you're going to be a doer. Ooh. And I was just like, I do not want to be a dreamer. I do not want to be a dreamer. I want to be a doer, and I want to get out there and I want to do what I got to do. And so literally, once I got out there and got the first one, I realized how easy it was, and I just kept doing it. It just kept making more and more sense.
No, so we're closing up, and I ask every guest the same question. This is the last question. So we know that you said in the beginning, we don't get nowhere by ourselves. We don't get literally. So this is called the Wild Award. So the Wild Award is basically, you might know them, you might not know them. You might just basically saw them on the street, but they literally inspire you to get where you are today. It could be one person. It can be a couple people. It can be, God knows, the whole entire world. Who is your Wild Award?
My Wild Award?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Herb McLaughlin. For sure. My grandfather.
Okay.
He gets it for sure. I'm telling you, he calls me weekly. Hey, grandson, what you thinking about doing this week? Hey, what new ideas we got going on this week? Or just his vast amount of knowledge. I've never seen it in anybody. He will literally talk to you until you fall asleep. My grandfather, he has the gift of gab. And, I kind of got that, but I don't got it as good as he does. So he definitely has, he gets that award for sure.
All right. Well, that's a wrap. Thank you for listening to another episode of Wow. Please tune in, comment, and share while it's available on Apple, Spotify, and Google. Also follow me on Introducing Melissa _ Introducing Melissa _ on IG. Also follow us on our IG page _wildhuman_. And Mac, where can the people find you at?
You can find me on Instagram at ASHH_MACC. And yeah, that's it on Instagram.
That's it. Any final words you want to say?
Any final words? Hey, Melissa, and I appreciate you for having me on the show today. Just a little small peon like myself, you feel me? But no, I definitely appreciate this, and thank you.
No, thank you. Okay, before we close out, remember this. Inside all of us is hope. Inside all of us is fear. Inside all of us is adventure. Inside all of us is a wild thing. Sindag. My name's Melissa, and this is Wild. Peace.